Hello, how you doing? Yes, I actually tried to find out the reason why that particular trade you shared with me failed, and I have been able to come out with one or two reasons, though I have not gone deeply into it. Like I wrote here, be careful with fake BOS and chalk, okay, with fake break of structure and change of character. So the reason for this particular change of character was for price to simply mitigate this supply zone. Okay, mitigate supply zone. And after the mitigation, we expect this low to be taken. Okay, and we can also notice that this move that cleared this high was sponsored by a demand zone below. So right now we are in a battle between supply and demand. Okay, we are in a battle between supply and demand. So the only thing we can do is just to wait to see who is in control, and the only way we can find out is which is going to be what violated. So in this case, like in the case that we are looking at, the demand zone was actually violated. That was telling you that supply was invoked. So the only way you could have taken or respected this demand zone is if this demand zone actually succeeded in violating this supply zone. So in my own way, I could say that there was a supply to demand flip. So yeah, sorry about that. Like I was saying, if eventually this demand now overpowered this supply, then we say that we have gotten a supply to demand flip. Okay, and I said, yeah, can you relate this to the life to your latest trades that you shared with me? So when we have this flip, then we can more confidently look for buys. I also noticed that the selected demand zone is actually inducing an H4 demand zone, making it riskier to trade from. Go and check it yourself. That was exactly what I said. But then we're going to check it together. We have several demand zones, about two on the 4 hour time frame. And we can see that the purpose of this uptrend has been achieved. Price playing the liquidity existing above these highs. And what is left for price to do, as it did, is for price to retrace, as we can see. So when price is retracing, you have to be very careful because catching a reversal is very, very risky. And the market will always do, smart money will always do a lot of manipulation when you want to catch a reversal, especially when you know that price, for example, price can be reacting this way, and you know that this is just a retracement to go on. And you can see people trying to catch this retracement. Smart money will continue to take their stop losses and eventually, so there's usually a high level of manipulation when you want to anticipate moves like this. Okay, there's usually a high level of manipulation. So just to show you that actually we have a very clear 4 hour demand zone here, and eventually you took your trade for a buy very close to this zone. Price has not yet mitigated this zone, so it becomes kind of risky. But apart from that, this zone still failed, and we have it. So let us switch to the 5 minutes time frame where you actually took the trade from, and let's see what we can find out from there. At first, we have this downtrend coming, and there was a clear stop hunt manipulation here, and then a break of the structure eventually. So this becomes what a uh, high probability zone, supply zone. And why is the supply zone? If you look at it carefully, this zone is not properly mitigated. That is, price never traded up to half of this range. And coming here, we find that this is going to be a very beautiful inducement as well. As you can see, a very beautiful inducement. Okay, for price. It's not working. I don't know why it's not okay. There it goes. Okay. And when you see a move like this, your thought was that price was creating high, low, lower high, lower low, lower low, and lower high, and lower low. And eventually, when you saw this change of character here, this break of structure that is here, or when you saw this break of structure in the system, you have anyone, you know, what's wrong with my internet or what? Okay, anyhow, that's a break of structure. When you saw this, your thought was that price would definitely want to react from you. I think you selected this block. You selected this block. Here's a block you actually selected, and your stop loss was below this level, which was quite good. But if I want to select a block, I will go to the extreme. This block is what I'm going to select, and this is going to be mitigating this. And you can see that as at this point in time, because there's no better way to trade, as at this point in time, my block selection was better. So you can see that price gain mitigated this zone here, with less drawdown compared to what you would have done. And then you can see what happened, a nice opportunity about 7 arrow if you're going to trade into this imbalance to, as your target, or your partials as the case may be. So that is what we saw. But then we didn't know that price was only doing this change of character actually. Let me call it change of character, please. I prefer to call it change of character. Okay, price is actually doing this change of character just to mitigate this zone that was indicated. So those who really understood this would have gotten what a beautiful trade. Hindsight is so interesting. So I don't want to draw it explain it, but you can see that they would have gotten quite a very beautiful trade doing that. And so we look at this zone, this power zone that was actually marked, and this power zone that was actually marked, and we try to look for opportunity, to go long on this zone if possible. We have chalk here. The next thing we notice this demand, this supply zone here. Notice this supply zone that is here. And we wait for price to violate the supply zone. When price violated the supply zone, all we could do is to try to look for opportunity to go long. The only thing we can start doing is to start monitoring this trend, this trade that is showing you. I'm trying to say, start monitoring this structure. Okay, this particular structure, you know, and eventually we have the break of this high. Okay, once we have the break of this high, we can start looking for opportunity to go long. The other block that is here, let me show you the other block. The other block is actually this point. What is wrong with my system? Okay, the other block was actually, if I want to select the other block, I'll be taking all of this as the other block. You see, that is exactly where the price can tap into and take off and take off. You see, if you want to do kind of simple trading, if you have to take the trade from here, not quite bad, not quite bad, but then what could you have gotten? That's just by the way. But that just to show us the real order block that is here, which is from the open of this candle to the low, so that your stop loss is kind of being protected. And if you try to scale down and see, I'm sorry, not scale down, try to take the premium discount, see price is actually reacting. Okay, for me, I wouldn't have taken this trade. I would have actually waited for price to, so maybe possibly I couldn't have taken this trade based on my system. So you could see that price was actually, this block was actually an inducement to this 4-hour block, which makes it more risky to take trades from. But then you could have gotten a nice, it's a nice attempt. So hindsight, like I said, as we all know, is very much different from when you are trading in real time, because in real time you have less opportunity to see what is going on. But it requires a lot of training for each and every one of us, so that we can almost be as good as nobody can actually be as the real time trading. It all requires some elements of patience. So that's just a point I want to drive out. Is simply the fact that this was a big change of character, was just there to mitigate, and that is why they say that we should be very careful how we look at structure, market structure, because most times people think they are very good in market structure, and if they don't combine it with supply and demand and liquidity, then you're going to be having some problem. Like in this case, you have something this way. Let me try to see if I'm going to make any sense. We have maybe a demand zone here, and we have a block here. After breaking structure, how am I going to present this now? Let me see, because I'm trying to make some very peculiar. Let me see. Um, see if I can make any sense out of it. Okay, make something like this. The price goes this way, and you are thinking that there's no way because this is let me just stop it here. This is low, high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Just because you have this break of structure, you think that this must be your strong point. Sorry. You think that this must be your strong point, and you come here and put your demand, and you expect price to do what? To react from here, and then make this and clear. But by the time you see price doing this, you give you sign as if he wants to continue, and by the time you see price doing this, you start wondering why the price did that. Okay. The truth is that this zone, you have not considered supply and demand. You have not considered supply and demand. This zone was only mitigating this demand. This demand you see was only mitigating this demand, and it is designed by smart money to really catch enough traders. Sometimes you might even have this demand clearly is high, okay, but yet you still see price come back. But when you notice this happening without taking this high, then you can even try to sell for it, because I know that most likely this zone will be taken out. And you start looking at zones like this to see how you can trade from. So this is liquidity, and this is supply and demand. This is demand, this is liquidity. Okay, that's what I mean. This is liquidity, inducement low. So you need to consider it. Okay. So your structure is now going to be something like this, something like this, something like this, and something like this, and something like this. This is going to be your market structure now. Okay. This is now your strong low to trade from. Not this, not this. Okay, this was just an inducement. This is just actually one leg, one leg. So it's going to look like something like this. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry, I'm looking for brush. Okay, something like this. This is what you have. Okay, so the whole of this is just one structure. The whole of this is just one structure, and that is how continue going. All right. So thank you so much.